Good morning. I am Anatoly Anatolisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Today I'm going old school. I'm using my phone because I'm going out on the road today to debunk the left's narrative that Bidenomics is working. It's actually pretty easy to do, but I'm going to show you that. I'm also going to talk about January 6th in a way that way too many people have been avoiding. So stick around. The year is 2023. 3 years after the January 6th so-called insurrection. And yet I've looked through hundreds of these images, and not one of these soldiers actually has an armed weapon. These are neutered American soldiers defending the Capitol. It's a joke. The Capitol cop is armed. So what were they defending against with unarmed weapons? A fake bomber? This is not a bomb. This is a movie prop. As you can see, this is an egg timer. There is no electrical component to actually start the spark. I think it's important to note that Nancy Pelosi's stooges, the Capitol Police, were armed, while National Guard that were actually patriots were not trusted enough to be given live ammunition while protecting the Capitol building. This was all theater, okay? Along with the fake bombing, the fake bomb threat, and everything else that had to do with January 6th. The hearings, the congressional hearings, the indictments of Trump, all of it is just theater. Yet, at the same time, the liberals are still admitting that they are terrified of what the repercussions would be if they actually cheated again after Obama, or after Obama 2.0, Joe Biden. Because our economy's in the toilet. There's more homeless on the street than recorded in the history of America. And they're still trying to paint it as being a good thing. So, yeah, when you have a movie prop put into the or a location in front of the DNC and in the RNC with an egg timer. This is very important, okay? Because an egg timer literally works off of a spring. There is no electrical current. There's nothing to create a spark. Okay, it's a movie prop. Okay, you need to get some kind of spark into the explosive to create combustion. Any first grade science student would be able to tell you that. But then again, these are libtards, and they went to school to be indoctrinated instead of actually learn physics. So what does this actually mean? Two things. Number one, they were never designed to blow up. Number two, If these were actual bombs and the timer was only good for an hour, they would have been put into place while the height of the people were there. And yet we never heard of the bomber again. It's just theater. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt in my mind that this was one of Nancy Pelosi's staffers that put these things into place and never would be brought up again. The whole January 6th thing was just just theater. The biggest thing that they fear right now is the fact that they had a visual representation on January 6th, 2021 of how much Joe Biden was actually hated. Somebody told me once that if you multiplied 1,000 for every person that was at that rally, or 2,000 for every person that was at that rally, that's how many votes Joe Biden didn't get. Okay? In other words, 80% of America wanted Donald Trump. Nobody can argue that the more they push Donald Trump into these indictments and stuff, the more popular he gets. They're terrified of that. Let's push the fear. Lock and load people. Let's start poisoning water wells and put these people in the graves. I don't know about you, but I bring a knife to a gunfight. I'm never unarmed. Christians use the symbol of the cross because the first church originally considered it like a finger to the Romans, a middle finger. The crucifixion was known to be a brutal, inhumane torture that they used to execute thieves, criminals, political dissidents. It was like the most humiliating, the most cruel thing that somebody could do to somebody. And it was inefficient but very time consuming, very slow execution. So the Christians at the resurrection basically started saying, or after the resurrection, basically started saying, hey, look, this is your worst execution, and our guy beat it. What else do you got? That's what we need to do with January 6th. January 6th was a joke. Yet the liberals towed it over our heads as if we need to fear protesting an election again. At this point, we're not going to be protesting. We're going to be shooting Democrats in the street if they try to cheat again. But let's get real. We need to celebrate January 6th as the true Independence Day for the new America. The next clip is from Dan Bongino. So I kept his sponsors in the clip so he can get some kind of recognition. But he's debunking through stats the Bidenomics working. I'm going to take you out onto the street and actually show you the reality of Bidenomics in the form of displaced Americans and why you should never vote for a Democrat. And before I do that, I want you to realize that this same area that I take you to didn't have any tents the whole time that Trump was in office. So that's very important, okay? People will turn around and say that the homeless problem has always been there and Joe Biden didn't have anything to do with it. No. If the homeless problem wasn't Joe Biden's fault, we wouldn't see so much more homeless on the street than we did during Trump's era. I'm not pro-Trump. I feel that he betrayed America by keeping Hillary Clinton alive. However, the reality is that it was the strongest economy that we've seen in my lifetime. And I'm 50 years old. So here's the next clip from Dan Bongino. And let's pay attention to it.
Okay. They're going to run on Bidenomics. This is how out of touch they are. People are out there. People are going to the supermarket. They're not. No one's paying. It's not a third-party payer problem. They're going to the gas station. They're going to the supermarket. They're paying rent themselves. So the fact that Biden has chose to run on his disastrous economy and brag about screwing and basically jamming it down your throat, real wages going down and inflation, is one of the most, I'm telling you straight, one of the most bizarre political decisions I have ever seen. His advisors politically should be fired immediately. Here's what I mean. Here's our National Economic Council director, Bharat Ramamurthy. Absolutely gaslighting everyone on the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, Biden said, maybe we shouldn't have named it that because inflation has not come down. The rate of change of inflation has gone down. Prices have not gone down at all. They're still going up. The fact they're not going up at nearly 10% doesn't mean they're not going up. So here's Bharat Ramamurthy saying, maybe we should have called it the Growth Act, the Reduce Inflation Act, the Cut the Deficit Act, or whatever. I'm going to discredit every single one of these things and show you how screwed up this economy really is with this doping charge. Check this out.
Bharat, it was reported that the president said at a fundraiser the other day that it probably wasn't the best named legislation, and I'm wondering what the White House would want to call it if it were fresh today.
Well, I think one of the great things about this legislation is that it does so much, and you're restricted to maybe having a few words when you name your piece of legislation. It's not the most pithy name, but maybe you could call it the Economic Growth, Inflation Reduction, Deficit Reduction, Cost Savings Act, Carbon Greenhouse Gas Emission Reduction Bill. It did a lot.
So you could call it the Emissions Reduction Bill, the Growth Bill, Cutting Inflation Bill, Cutting the Deficit Bill, and the Cost Control Act, or whatever. I'm going to go through each one of those and show you what colossal bullshit these guys are trying to ram down your throat. But keep brought up a good point. He's like, because what the hell else are they going to run on? Everything else sucks too. You might as well pick the least of the suck rather than the most sucky thing on the suck scale, because this guy's got nothing. What's he going to run on? His record of taking $10 million in bribes from overseas enemies of the United States? So he's telling you they should have named it the Growth Act. Well, here's the problem. When you go to any financial chart out there from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, which, by the way, is not a partisan endeavor, and you look at growth since the Inflation Reduction Act passed, you'll notice it's been trending down.
I wonder.
3.2, 2.6, 2.0, 2.4.
What?
Which will probably be revised. It's trending down. It's trending. Does this guy not know that? Of course, they're freaking lying.
Okay.
Because the theme of today's show is we're being led by imbeciles, liars, mercenaries, criminals, and freaking grifters, man.
She's a pretty extreme.
What about the Inflation Control and Reduction Act? Financial Times, that's not true either. Notice I picked left-leaning outlets.
Like,
U.S. inflation edges up to 3.2% in July. Edges up. Up, that's this direction, dipshits on the left. That's this, up. We're not upside down. This isn't a visual effect. That's up.
Massive.
Oh, they reduced the deficit? They did? That's fascinating. All I did was pull up a statistics website, Statista. Here are the deficits. 2022, 1.3 trillion. 2023, 1.56. 2024, 174. 2025 is projected 153. At no time did it come down from 1.36. No time.
It sounds crazy.
This is a statistics website. It's not a partisan one. So they lied about that too. Bro, they lie about everything all the time. Well, he said at least we can call it the emissions, CO2 like emissions act or whatever bullshit he tried to tell you. It's fascinating because there was an article that popped the other day in the Wall Street Journal. Why are carbon emissions up? Is anything this guy told you true? Nothing. Holman Jenkins, cut to the chase. Global CO2 emissions actually grew 12% faster in 2022 than energy consumption. Is anything these people tell you true? No, it's not. Wall Street Journal had a great piece on this yesterday, too. The Inflation Reduction Act flim-flam. The legislation hasn't reduced inflation. Food and consumer costs are increasing again. Rent's going up, too.
Mm-hmm.
Even Biden had to concede it's all going up. Here's another one from the same piece. Oh, I thought there was the Cost Control Act, or the Jobs Act. Well, the fossil fuel industry could lose more than 100,000 jobs. 350,000 supported in Ohio. The law will hit workers in the fossil fuel industry especially hard. I thought it was some kind of Jobs Act. Well, what about the cost of it? At least that's controlled at $700 billion. According to this firm, the law could wind up costing $2.8 trillion, 4 times the price quoted by Democrats.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Just $2.8 trillion. Just our entire federal spending budget this year. Folks, I got more of these. People live in a delusional fairyland. We are being led by imbeciles, grifters, and losers. And it's the only way they think they can steal the 2024 election. Let me take a quick break, and I got a video from one of the dumbest. Remember the stupid smart people? The dumbest smart person on television is Robert Reich, a guy who portrays himself as some like world-class economist who said so unbelievably stupid on Joy Reid. Coming up next. Don't miss it.
To me, that the more Republicans scream about drag queens and, putting PragerU videos instead of real history in schools, it is an indication to me that they want to avoid talking about Bidenomics because Bidenomics is actually working. Is that how you read it?
I think that's exactly right, Joy. They are trying to deflect attention from the fact that the economy is
Joy
great.
Reid. She's a fucking
Goldilocks
communist.
economy. I'll tell you, I've been watching or participating in economic policy for at least 30 years, and I don't recall an economy that is this good.
History in schools
Oh,
a decade.
Moses, do you believe these guys?
This morning, I'm going to meet Doug Coop, who last year, no, actually 2 years ago, ran for mayor and then city council for our team. We're going to probably feed chili to the homeless downtown. Bidenomics working. I'm not even to the share house yet. And their campsites for the next 4 blocks. Yeah, Bidenomics is working, Joy Reid. An industrial park only 30 feet away. Got the picture? Yeah, Bidenomics is really working. It is incredible to me that people don't see the obvious when they are so glued to the ideology of the left. I am seeing block after block of homeless situations everywhere I go. This is not an anomaly. This is across the country. I just showed you 1 6-block radius of Vancouver, Washington. That's what happens when you install an incompetent piece of shit instead of actually going by what the people want. We're not in a situation where we can pick and choose our elected officials anymore. We only have one option. We have to get the Democrats out of office or kill them. There's no in between. Doug just told me that I was a week off. I came all the way down here to distribute food on the weekend because the share house doesn't have meals on Saturday and Sunday. But there's so many organizations that want a chance they have to distribute over the course of time. So our group only does it once a month, and it's the last Saturday of the month, which is cool that there's so many people that want to help. And I got some rather depressing footage for the podcast along the way. Bidenomics is really working. We see that with over and over again empty buildings in the industrial parks. For instance, right behind me, at one point, that was a fire station. The fire station moved, then it became a brewery for about 2 months, and now it's abandoned again. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you very much. As I walk through, it's like 90 degrees already, and I don't do well in the heat. But as I walk through the downtown area, I do see signs like the Columbian newspaper is hiring, and various things like that. I'm proud that we still have people that want to work, but I'm really disappointed in how in the sunlight I get very winded because of my blood disorder. I am very disappointed that people have actually stayed true to their Democrat ideologies even after they have destroyed America. Anyway, I'm going to head home, process this, and hopefully make some kind of difference, because it definitely has to happen. We are not in a very strong economy now, and we have to blame Joe, because during the Trump era we had the strongest economy in my lifetime. These recessions happen primarily on a Democrat watch. And if the election goes in the way of a Democrat, we know they cheated, and we will start fighting, because that's what we have to do to save America. Lock and load, people. Lock and load. Brush up on your bomb making skills, and let's poison the water supplies, because we're in this for the long haul, and we have to destroy these fucking Democrats before they destroy America. So that's what I have for today. I hope this information is taken well, that you actually find some use in what I'm telling you. And I hope that you see some value in it to the point that you will actually donate. There's a link in the description. But also, it is very important to us that you interact with us. We want to know what your concerns are. We want to answer any questions that you might have. And to the best of our ability, we will answer them. Possibly even on the show. So in the description, or in the description's donation link, there's also a link to leave a voice message. Please use it. But until next time, I am Anatoly Anatolisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, bring them into the fight. But even more importantly, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ has loved you.